What I didn't put the piece in the bulwark at the time was Trump's name for her, which was my conveyor belt. She got him whatever he needed. The president's poll numbers are just not great, right? They're pretty bad. The big movement for him is the intensity of support among Republicans. And the thrill is kind of gone. It's time to go. Things aren't getting better with the president. He's heading to his lame duck.
All hell is breaking loose inside this White House right now. Trump's A-team is bolting for the exits, his press secretary walking out, his own lawyer gone, and his approval just hit rock bottom. This is a president watching his own base crack and the ship starting to sink.
And who actually has power, who's in, who's out. Brookings Institute said that, from his A game, A team, 50% of people have left. Is this normal?
That's an Axios reporter who covers this White House every day. The thrill is gone. It's time to go. And Trump is heading straight for lame duck territory.
Thank God. With Warrington leaving as counsel, the thing is that Trump really only has he's got Susie Wiles, Karoline Leavitt had, or about to be had, Stephen Chung, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio.
The revolving door is spinning again. The Brookings Institution puts turnover in Trump's top A-team at more than 50% in year one. The White House counsel, gone. A top Treasury aide, gone. And they're not leaving in calm times. They're leaving in the middle of a costly Iran war, an affordability crisis, and brutal poll numbers.
Senior administration. Yeah, okay, whatever. You don't have to believe Brookings. I mean, do you?
But yeah, so the thing with Trump is that he's my colleague Barack Ravid said it best. He's our Middle East expert, perhaps one of the foremost Middle East experts on the planet. And he said that Trump is basically like a sultan. And just like a sultan has a majlis, a court, that basically sits around and decides everything.
In the face of the whole operation walked. Karoline Leavitt, one of his most trusted messengers, is out at the end of the month. And here's the tell. The White House may not even name a permanent replacement until after the midterms. When you stop filling the top jobs, you've stopped planning to win. So
the piece in the bulwark at the time where I worked, where we called it a human printer, which was one of her nicknames, was Trump's name for her, which was my conveyor belt. And he said that
So who is left? According to Caputo, the real circle is tiny. Susie Wiles, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Stephen Ching. That's it. A handful of true believers and a president who trusts almost no one else.
Years out of power, 3 some odd that she worked for him, that, she was the only person among his staff who loved him as much as his wife and children. And he would say, all of the rest of you will go off and make money. She will never leave me. And so that tells you about how much he values.
The way it works now, one reporter said, is less like a government and more like a royal court. A sultan, surrounded by a shrinking circle that just decides everything. In a court like that, being in the room matters more than being right.
I strongly approve or somewhat approve.
Right.
And the real movement for President Trump is those who have gone from strongly approve, they've decreased 20 points down to somewhat approve, from 68 to 48%, right? And so the big movement for him is the intensity of support among Republicans. And the thrill is kind of gone. So
while the professionals bolt, the loyalists stay. Trump reportedly has a nickname for the aide who never leaves his side. He calls her his conveyor belt. Whatever he wants, delivered on demand. That's the kind of person who survives in this White House, not the ones who tell him the truth.
So what's going on with this blip? Who knows? But nevertheless, when they launched the war against Iran, oil was like $64, $66 a barrel. Now it's in the $90 a barrel thing.
Oh, God.
And that just causes gas to get more expensive. And the gas prices, even if you drive a Tesla, you see it if you happen to drive around, are sort of the scoreboard for the war.
Maggie Haberman put it plainly. Trump told people, This aide loved him as much as his own wife and kids, that the rest of them would go off and make money, but she would never leave. Sit with that. In this White House, the top qualification isn't competence, it's devotion.
More importantly, the war in Iran. It has caused fuel to spike. Yesterday, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said he was confused as to why oil prices are going up.
Really? Wow, and they're letting this guy.
And here is the number that should terrify them. It's not just the overall approval, it's the intensity. The people who strongly approve of Trump have collapsed by 20 points. The diehards are cooling, and one pollster clocked a 12-point drop in Republican approval alone. The thrill
to say you
is
were
gone.
Yes, exactly. So his exact quote was, when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll never apologize.
Put the polls together, and it's the worst stretch of his presidency. 33% approval, a record low. Multiple surveys, same story. This isn't one bad poll, it's a pattern, and it's pointing straight at November. So
where did all the guys in the office go?
American women now hold 176,000 more payroll jobs than American men. That's a far cry from 3 decades ago when men held nearly 7 million more jobs than women. What changed? The largely male-dominated industries of manufacturing and construction have lost employment for decades due to automation and offshoring. Meanwhile, the healthcare industry, which is 78% female, is thriving. The male unemployment rate is actually relatively low right now, but the number of men who aren't even looking for a job has reached a nearly 20-year high. Gen Z men grew up witnessing the effects of the Great Recession and corporate America's push to bring more women into male-dominated fields. That left many of them feeling pessimistic about their own employment prospects. So for the guys who aren't working or even looking for work, what are they up to? Many are living at home. Some are even embracing the trend of being a stay-at-home boyfriend with a breadwinning girlfriend. This is all while more and more of life is happening through a screen. Social media, video gaming, sports betting, further isolating men from real life. But we can fix this. We can encourage more men to enter education, healthcare, and administration, just as women were encouraged to pursue careers in STEM. We could also expand vocational training and apprenticeships for men who are skipping college. It's time to bring a generation of young men back in from the sidelines.
what broke the base? Follow the money. When Trump launched his war on Iran, oil was in the 60s. Now it's near $90 a barrel. And gas prices, as the reporter put it, are the scoreboard for the war, the scoreboard for inflation.
How much of his time actually goes into the motivation now?
A lot. If you looked at like a chart of his mind share, like this I will say about getting into his mind, like 70% of it would be on his renovations. It's a...
The man in charge of the economy? Trump's own Treasury Secretary said he was confused about why oil prices are even going up. Confused. That's the person steering the ship while everyone else is heading for the lifeboats. And
I need to say this properly because I don't want to make it sound criminal. It happens with every enterprise.
Can I say it?
It happens with every White House.
Cash out, baby.
You want to be able to cash out. You want, there's still some sort of...
His message to the people feeling it at the pump? When you have to pay a little more, it's okay. I'll never apologize. It's okay. Tell that to a family that was promised gas under $2. No wonder the diehards are drifting.
Or not. And I think that if Susie Wiles thought she could fire Natalie Harp, she would have done so by now.
Where is his head while the team empties out and the polls crater? According to Haberman, about 70% of his mind share is on renovations. The ballroom, the grass, the granite, and even that just blew up in court. An appeals court told him a president is a temporary tenant, not the owner, and blocked the whole thing. He's obsessing over a ballroom he's not even allowed to build.
Wants to please, only tells him what he wants to hear. And so he's getting his information from, in effect, from a kind of fact-free fan.
And that's the quiet part. Staffers aren't just tired. They're cashing out. Get the title, get the connections, and get out while it still means something. Because with investigations looming and a possible lame duck ahead, the smart money is already at the door. So
yeah,
that's sick. So that's those are your people. Now Karoline's leaving, so that takes away. He's still got the 5. So wherever the fuck the Brookings Institution is coming up with the 50%, I have absolutely no idea. That's not to mean that 50% of the people, like in various positions haven't left and a certain band, I have no idea how they're doing their math. But if their math is based on who really has
The competent leave and the true believers stay. Even the chief of staff, one author says, couldn't remove the most devoted aide if she tried, which means the president is increasingly getting his information from what that same author called a fact-free fan club. The guardrails walk out the door. The echo chamber stays.
Let's see if we can.
Is that a possibility?
If we have any say in it, we'll be in the majority. I'll be pushing for that.
All right. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Now, in fairness, here's the other side. The same reporter who says the thrill is gone also pushed back on the 50% number, arguing the people who actually matter are still in place. Turnover, he says, is normal for any White House. And the White House points out Trump's support among Republicans is still up around the high 80s. So collapse is too strong. That's fair. The honest read isn't that everyone hates him. It's that the intensity is fading. The pros are leaving. And that's exactly what decides a midterm. And yet, publicly, the party is all smiles. The Speaker of the House stood there and promised they'll hold the majority. Maybe. But when your team is bolting, your base is cooling, and your approval is at rock bottom, confidence isn't a strategy. It's a tell. So let's just say out loud what a lot of people are thinking. If the professionals are leaving and the yes people are staying, who is left to tell this president the truth? If everything's going so great, why is everyone heading for the door? And if the base itself is cooling, what exactly happens in November? Here's my honest read, and this part is opinion. A White House is a mirror of the person at the top. When the talented leave and only the flatterers stay, it's not because the mission is winning, it's because the truth has become unwelcome. Trump can repaint the driveway all he wants, but you can't renovate your way out of a collapsing base. So let's recap. The A-team is bolting, the press secretary is gone, the counsel is gone, approval is at rock bottom, the diehards are cooling, gas and oil are climbing, and the only people left standing are the ones who never say no. That's not a strong White House. That's a shrinking court around a checked-out king. If you want this covered without the spin, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and share this one, because they are betting you look away. Next time, we follow the money. The Iran war, $90 oil, and the gas prices you're paying for it. I'll see you there.